What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today I'll be answering one of the most frequent questions I get on my channel, and that being why I'm such a low star in Bedwars, and as a follow-up question, why do I only have 1,000 final kills as a 100 star? I think this will be a pretty short video as well, so I do apologize for that, but I hope you guys enjoy, and of course, you already know what I'm about to say. I'll see you tomorrow. Now let's just hop straight into things. If you're new here and wondering why I use Skywars as background footage instead of Bedwars, it's because when I play Bedwars, I'm usually commentating with 80, so I make that into its own video rather than just using it as background footage. Nonetheless, as I was saying, one of the most common questions I get on my channel is how are you only a 130 star in Bedwars, or how are you this good with such a low star? I'll be answering these questions today, as well as another question I get pretty often, which is why do you have such a low amount of wins and final kills for your star? To start things off, I'd say the main reason my Bedwars level is so low is because of how little I play. Most of you know I play a lot more Skywars than Bedwars, and I'll get into why that is later, but that means I only play Bedwars to record. As you know, I upload doubles Bedwars videos twice a week, which are typically recorded on the same day, and each video contains 3 Bedwars games. I don't play solo, 3s, or 4s, so the doubles videos are really the only time I'm playing Bedwars throughout the week. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that I have a couple alt accounts that I played Bedwars on as well. Not much anymore, but I used to play quite a bit, and if you add up all the stars of all my alt accounts, I'd be somewhere near 400 stars. Which I know still isn't much for where I'm at in terms of experience and skill, but it explains a little bit more. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering where I learned my strategies and skills in Bedwars if I'm only a 400 star total, but if you've seen the videos I made on how I met Purple in 80, you'll know that I've been playing this game a long time, since early 2018. Getting to play with leaderboard players and top players of the No Life Guild back then certainly helped me learn the best strategies and metas to winning games, and quite honestly, the meta hasn't changed that much since then. Obviously, 3 years of doing the same thing in Bedwars games over and over definitely teaches you a thing or two. On top of this, most of you know I'm pretty good at PvP, and although I've stated that game sense is more important than PvP in Bedwars, if you get to a certain level in which almost nobody can kill you in a 1v1, then the only ways you'll ever die are to the void or to unfortunate circumstances like 2v1s or hackers. Now, being good at PvP certainly helps me a lot in Bedwars, as I can usually win 2v1s pretty easily, which is what mainly happens in doubles, and when you can team wipe a base without much effort at all, you're pretty much at that level of being a top Bedwars player, even though it's not even Bedwars related, it's more so PvP related. Now, of course, one of the things that brings me up a level from other people who can just win 2v1s is the level of game sense I've developed, and while watching my videos, you'll see me do things like the different strats I've made and used, for instance, the double bridge egg strat, the clutch strat, TNT jump and water strat on Soulless, lots of different things I do to outplay the opponents. Funnily enough, I've actually been told by some 1,000 star plus Bedwars players that they now use these strats as well after watching me do it in my videos. Not only this, but you'll see me getting some pretty high win streaks quite often, and this is also where game sense ties in. If you can develop an awareness of the game where you're always paying attention to where everyone is at all times, as well as which teams are fighting and what opportunities you have, you'll always be able to make the right decisions as to what you're going to do next in the game. Even though it isn't too noticeable when I'm commentating with 80, we're always looking around to see if anyone's rushing us, communicating to each other about who's where and possible threats in the game, as well as making sure we're keeping up with diamond upgrades so that we can always outgear our opponents. With all that out of the way, I'm sure some of you are wondering why I don't play as much Bedwars and why I play more Skywars. If you've seen yesterday's video, you'll know that I'm currently 33 stars in Skywars, and the equivalency is usually 1 Skywars star equals 20 Bedwars stars, meaning if I put all the time into Bedwars instead of Skywars, I'd have 660 extra stars on my plate. So why exactly do I play more Skywars than Bedwars, you ask? Well, to be completely honest with you, I just think there's a lot more depth to Skywars than Bedwars. For instance, in Bedwars, the only things you can really grind for are the stats and stars, whereas in Skywars, on top of grinding for stats and stars, you have a whole Angel's Descent reward tree to unlock different perks and cosmetics as you progress through, you have a ranked system in which you can unlock different cosmetics to show off in-game, you have the Angel of Death in which you can grind for better icons beside your star, and if all that wasn't enough, there are things like challenges, duels, even corrupted games that give you heads instead of kills, as well as extra experience to help you level up. I just feel like Skywars is more of a solid game, and obviously being on Hypixel since 2015, it's bound to be more developed, but I just find myself able to have so much more fun mindlessly grinding for a handful of things at once, whereas in Bedwars it's not as exciting to me unless I'm recording with friends and whatnot. However, now that I've explained why and how I'm such a low star in Bedwars, it doesn't explain why my stats are still quite low. It's common knowledge that a good player will typically have 10 times the amount of wins as their star. For instance, a 1,000 star should have at least 10,000 wins, a 20 star should have 200, and of course a 100 star should have 1,000 wins. But if you go ahead and take a look at my stats, you'll see that I'm 130 stars yet I don't even have 1,000 wins yet. But Chaz, didn't you say that good players are supposed to have 10 times as many wins as their star? Well, the only way I can explain this is by telling you that my stats aren't low for my star, but rather my star is high for my stats. There are a few reasons for this, and I'll get into them all here. To start, because I only play once a week, I essentially get the bed quest every single time I play, so that means for every star I should be getting, I actually get around 2 stars, which means I should be closer to 80 stars total rather than 130. Secondly, a lot of you know I used to grind capture mode like crazy, and although capture mode was a great way to level up stars, it still didn't count for wins or stats, so it was essentially like I was gaining stars for no reason. I believe I gained at least 20 stars from playing it, which should put my real star around 60. And last but not least, since I am very clearly a doubles main, I get a lot more experience per win in longer games than if I played 4s or if I was a 4s main, so I just level up quicker with less wins. So all in all, what this means is if I just grinded 4s for a couple weeks to get as many wins as I have now, I would be approximately 50 stars or less, which would be much closer to explaining why I only have 800 wins as a 130 star. Nonetheless, I do apologize for the short video today. I didn't want to just stretch it out for no reason. I'd like to get right to the point, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys are enjoying the daily uploads so far. We're almost to the end. I'm going to let the rest of this game play out, so you're welcome to stay for that. But that's it for me. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.